great, that's a great segue from you're hiring all these people, and now you have to continue to cultivate your organization as an organization that never sits still, never stops hiring, never stops changing priorities. We're all in those kind of spaces. Right? So think of your company today. Think of your employees, your goals, your priorities, your processes, your policies, if you have them written down even, and think about how you feel about them. And then fast forward to a year when you are 500 employees. That would be great and exciting, right? Across 6 offices, 3 countries, 4 time zones, lots of complexity. And then fast forward again, and you're 3,008 time zones. It's a whole different animal, and you guys are going through, as we all are, lots of work to create processes, and as you do that, you want to think about, are they going to scale? Are the values we're creating today going to last through all of that? Are they going to translate to different cultures well? How are we going to think it through without reinventing the wheel every time? So, get ready. At the end of the day, regardless of where you are in that process, we all need to hire and retain the best employees, right? We certainly want to make sure that we do both of those things, because if you start losing employees, then you're never going to catch up to the hiring plan that you actually put in place. We want to stay true to our culture, as we've been talking about, and at the end of the day, we want to be a market leader, whether that's delivering to clients or customers, or to other professionals. You want to be the best and deliver results. So I have talked to so many people, employee surveys, exit interviews, just talking to people in my various organizations over the years, and especially over the last few years, as we want to be relevant with trends and what's really important to people in the workforce right now and coming into the workforce today. And I truly believe that if you focus on these 3 areas, you will buy a lot of goodwill from your employees, even if some other things still need some work. So if you focus on communication, personal professional growth, and recognition, you will get very far with your employees and retaining your top people that you want to hold on to. So briefly getting into each one of those, by communication, I talked about this before. You want to be open in interviews. You want to be honest. So you want to be pumped and real and optimistic, but you want to be realistic, right? You want to say, these are some of the things that aren't going so well, but we want you to come and help us with that. Are you ready to help us? Are you psyched? Come and do that. That's why we need you. So I'll use an example. When I interviewed at Dataminr, there were bumps in the process, and they were like, that's why we need you. I'm so sorry that interview got canceled last minute. Please come and help us with that. And so I was like, I know what I'm getting into, and I'm in. I know I have answers. I can solve problems here day one. So let people opt in, and they're not going to be afraid to solve problems for you and go along the roller coaster with you. Default to open. I'm sure you have all heard from employees, they can never get enough communication, right? You think you're communicating every day, once a week, through newsletters, online, through Slack. It's never ever enough. Do it across multiple channels. Be as open as possible. And even if there are things that you absolutely cannot share, certain revenue numbers or whatever, share everything else. Be as open as possible. Encourage your managers to be as open as possible. That's how the information is going to get to everybody. Also, again, being open means bringing problems to the table. Not everything has to be figured out before you talk about it. There might be someone sitting in the back of a room you didn't even know had a skill, and if you bring the problem to the group, they might solve it for you. And they'll probably solve it in their free time because it's what they like to do. So don't be afraid to, again, show where your trouble spots are. Personal professional growth, really important. People will leave an organization very quickly if they feel like they don't see a path, even if they've only been in your organization for 3 months. If they don't see where they're going to go in 6 months or in a year, they're gone as soon as somebody else presents that opportunity and dangles that in front of them. So make sure that people know where they can go. Even if you're small, jobs can grow wide. People are so happy to have opportunities, but you have to define them. So it's never too early to define some career paths and make sure that there are options. There's not a one-size-fits-all career path for any organization that's this size. You're not looking at some career ladder that's really overblown and there's only one path up it and one person has to leave for someone else to come in. It's not about that. It's about using internal knowledge and introducing people to other parts of the organization, using your internal experts to train each other, have mentors, make that formalized, have lunch and learns, make sure people are invited to each other's meetings across the company. People that know the big picture are going to be better at their job today and know what they want to do in your organization tomorrow. And then put a little money towards it. So all that stuff doesn't really cost, but investing in people is critical. So if you can get senior buy-in to put some money towards a conference a year for people, or online subscriptions that are super cheap but super valuable. We have Linda licenses in our company. Those go a very long way. So, think about just a little expense here and there, and if you can align those to what people want to do in their career path and help them think about, if I do this or go to this conference, it's going to help me get there, then that's even better. Finally, on recognition, express appreciation all the time. Like communication, there's never enough recognition. People want to know they did a good job in every project, every meeting, every email. It never gets old, right? And the more you give positive feedback, the easier the developmental feedback is going to be, the easier that is to swallow, because they know that you have their back, you appreciate them, but this little thing, this needs to be tweaked. And they know you're being honest too, because you'll tell them when it's great and you'll tell them when it's not. And then amplify that, say it in front of everybody. Walk into a meeting and say, thanks everybody for coming here, thank you so much to Liz, my Liz who's in the audience, for putting together, this presentation that we're all going to go through. She did such a good job. I want to walk you through what's going on here. Say things out loud. Say it in a town hall. Thank a project team for putting in work over a weekend and getting something out the door. Amplify. And tell someone's manager. That will go a long way too. Just drop a note. On a train home, I just wanted to let you know that Veronica did a great job today because this happened and I just thought you should know. Reinforce it with formal feedback, OKRs, and make sure that you also address things in PIPs and developmental areas, because otherwise there's no balance, right? People really need to feel like when they work hard, they're appreciated, and that we know that that counts for something, and they're getting performance recognition, pay, and promotions because they're working hard. Make sure all that stuff is related to true merit. So our organizations are like cars moving 100 miles an hour, right? All of us are on these curvy roads. We don't know what's coming next, but we have to stay focused, stay on the road, handle the curve, and make sure that we keep feeding our engine, which is the organization. And I definitely encourage you to focus on these areas: communication, personal and professional growth, and recognition. There's a lot of noise out there, a lot of programs you could be focused on, but these will get you very far.